Here's the history and some of the key numbers behind the contest that grips the world of golf and beyond like no other. The first edition was held in 1927, where a Great Britain team arrived by boat to play in Massachusetts at the Worcester Country Club. Originally, the competition comprised of 4 foursomes and 8 singles, with 4 balls not introduced until 1963. In the first 22 editions, when it was just Brits and Irish against the US, America only lost 3. So, in 1979, in came the rest of Europe, including the future 5-time Ryder Cup winner, Seve Ballesteros. Since Team Europe was established, the head-to-head reads Europe 13, USA 9. Home advantage is a big deal. Europe's last away win was the miracle at Medina in 2012, and America hasn't won on European soil since '93 at the Belfry. It's accepted that both teams tailor their home courses to suit their own players. For example, in Paris in 2018, Thomas Bjorn asked for the rough to be kept extra long beyond the green to target the big booming American drives. 10 years earlier, Paul Azinger did the opposite, and the Valhalla rough was trimmed right down. On both occasions, the home side were resounding winners. So what about the money? The most recent Ryder Cup in Rome drew in a record 271,000 spectators and boosted the Italian economy by €262 million. In the US, the PGA America TV deal with NBC is worth $440 million. But no Ryder Cup revenue has ever gone directly to individual players. That's until now. In 2025, for the first time ever, the US team will each receive a fee for playing in New York. Of course, in Rome, legend has it Patrick Cantley refused to wear his cap because he wasn't being paid to wear it, though he insisted it simply didn't fit. Either way, Team Europe have made it clear they're more than happy to keep playing for the sheer thrill, joy and prestige of the Ryder Cup.
Welcome to Fight Night on talkSPORT with me, Gareth Davies, and him, the boxing agent, Sam Jones. We've got a massive 3 hours ahead, packed with big guests as we cover the biggest stories in boxing tonight. The highly anticipated clash between Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte, I can confirm, is coming up, and we will be live on talkSPORT. We'll be joined live tonight by a star-studded lineup of British boxing talent, including the one and only Dave Allen, Joshua Buatsi, and the young heavyweight Leo Atang. Plus, joining us live in the studio, the one and only Tyler Goodjohn, as we dive into the world of bare knuckle boxing. All that and much, much more here on Fight Night on talkSPORT. Well, a very good evening to you. We've got a packed 3-hour show. I'm delighted to say boxing agent, masterful argumentation, more opinions and views than a giant flock of seagulls. Sam Jones is here. Sam, it's great to have you in the studio with me, because when you and I sit down, you're not a drinker, but when we sit at the bar and we have a coffee, you have some amazing opinions on boxing and very strong views, and we're going to get all those across tonight. Welcome to Fight Night.
Thank you for having me, Gareth. I'm looking forward to the show tonight with the Gad man, Captain Gad Sparrow.
Well, look, Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte is live on talkSPORT on August the 16th. We'll be there covering it live. The Esports World Cup Fight Week. It'll take place on Saturday, August the 16th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Let's talk, first of all, about Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte. What's your view? Is this the right time for Moses Itauma to step up against a veteran, a stalwart of the heavyweight division? Is this a rightful test for him?
Well, look, it could be masterful matchmaking. Frank Warren's a sensational matchmaker. He always has been. He's always known. Very rarely gets it wrong. He's obviously got a special fighter on his hands with Moses. He's done everything right, and he's made us all think this kid is going to be. He's going to be the next face of British boxing. It's either going to be perfect timing. It's like, who's got who at the right time? Has Moses got Dillian at the right time in his career, or has Dillian got Moses while he's still green? So we're going to see, and that's what makes it a very intriguing matchup. I think Moses Itauma looks special. He really does. But as what people keep saying, he hasn't had that ultimate chin check. And when I'm sure it's going to come soon. Is Dillian the guy to deliver that shot? Who knows? We're going to find out. It's a very, very intriguing matchup.
It's a fantastic fight in many ways, because like you say, it's about timing, and it's about the way the escalators, the sliding doors are passing here. But
Absolutely.
You speak to most people in the fight world, and even though we haven't seen, I say Moses tested it, it's a test every time he steps in there.
Yeah.
He's only 20. In the preamble with Ollie Klink and Darren Ambrose just now on their show on Kickoff, I was saying that he reminds me of a Wayne Rooney when he turned up in football age 17, fearless, coming forward, scoring, just so watchable. You couldn't take your eyes off him. And there is that feeling with Moses Itauma, and he's so cool, calm and collected the entire time. We've had him in the studio before. He never gets ahead of himself. Yeah. He's not a trash talker. Yeah. There's an edge of arrogance in him that you thrill to and enjoy. Yeah. But I just wonder, most people in the boxing world see him. Obviously he's a lefty, he's a southpaw, and Alexander Usyk has shown that being a very skilled southpaw in the heavyweight division is a massive advantage. He just is probably going to be too quick, too young, too good for Dillian.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I first saw Moses Itauma when he came with a school bag on. I think he was 15 or 16 to spar Joe Joyce at Stallard's boxing gym.
I know the story. Please tell it. Yeah.
And he got he took his school uniform. He had his school jacket on. He had his school bag. Took it off. I was just like, hold on. I was thinking, what's happening here? Like this isn't right. And he got in there, and I was like, hold on a minute. What's he doing it? Like he sparred. There was 3 sparring partners in there, and I looked at him straight away. I was like, oh, this kid is fantastic.
And he was just short of 16, wasn't he?
He was just short of 16 years old.
It should almost have been illegal.
He
should almost not have been allowed in the ring.
He's a young kid. Yeah. A young kid. He's still...
And how was it? What did the spar look like?
Listen, Joe was a big, strong man, but Moses Itauma, you just looked at him and just thought, this kid is going to be fantastic.
Was he relishing it?
Yeah.
As he took off his school tie and his jacket.
No fear whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like usually you'd think it's a bit daunting coming in. There's 3 heavyweights. Like there's a few heavyweights.
Silver champion.
Olympic silver medalist, and Joe. This is Joe when he was at his prime as well, beast. And he got no problems. Like Moses Itauma, he's ticked every box so far, and all we can do is see this kid is fantastic. So, but he hasn't had that test yet.
Hasn't had the gut check.
He hasn't had the gut check yet, and we're gonna get it. And listen, I wish Moses Itauma well. It's British boxing, and like you say, there is a hint of arrogance there, but it's good. It's good. He's not rude. He's very courteous and very polite. He's just got ultimate self-belief, and this is what we want to see. Like when Nazim Hamed come on, I like seeing that type. I like seeing someone that could sell, that could put bums in seats. And I look at Moses Itauma and I think with the crop of heavyweights, the Fabio Wood, the Daniel Dubois, these boys are going to be our top boys in the heavyweight division. It wouldn't
surprise me if he is there with that list of Mike Tyson, Floyd Patterson, and Muhammad Ali, the 3 youngest heavyweight champions of the world. Wouldn't surprise me to see him 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, and a world champion in 18 months' time. There he is against Dempsey McKean, who was supposed to be a test for him. He dealt with him very handily, didn't he? But I think what he does is he creates the angles. That left that comes through.
Punches going backwards as well.
But
unbelievable.
He punches going backwards. He's light on his feet. The late, great Colin Hart said he looks a little bit, it reminded him of Marlon Brando in looks as well. He's a very, very kind of calm individual. I mean, Francis Warren's done a great job with him. We'll come back to him in a minute, but that card in Saudi as well. Nick Ball, Sam Goodman at featherweight for the WBA title.
Yeah,
good fight.
Yeah, big fan of Nick Ball. He's never in a dull fight, is he? Nick Ball. It's always crash bang wallop when he fights. I expect him to do the job there.
Ray Ford against Abraham Nova, as you rightly pointed out.
He come in late notice, didn't he, Abraham Nova? I expect Ray Ford to look really good in that fight, and then he's going to go on, obviously, have much bigger fights.
And then another very interesting heavyweight fight on that card before we come back to Moses. Filip Hrgovic against David Adeleye. Massive opportunity for Adeleye. Yes, he's gone past Jamie TKV. They're not rematching, which is a pity for him. Maybe it's going to be Johnny Fisher now against TKV. Who knows? But
Fraser Clark, I think, has been mandated, hasn't he? So
Fraser Clark, correct.
Yeah.
Filip Hrgovic, obviously one of the boogeymen of the division at one point.
Yeah.
Great test for David Adeleye and a chance to climb the ladder again rather than slide down the snake.
It's a step up in class for David Adeleye. I mean, listen, El Animal, Filip Hrgovic, he's coming off a good win against Joe Joyce. That was a barnstormer. It's a really... I looked at that fight and I thought, apart from obviously the main event, I'm really, really intrigued by that fight because I think, can David raise his game? Because he's always shown glimpses of being able to... again, he's another one, David Adeleye. Came to the gym, I think he was 17 to spar Joe when Joe was in David Hayes' gym. And he just impressed me the way how he's just no fear. Zero fear. And I said, David's a good friend of mine. I wish him really well. But I get on with Filip Hrgovic as well. It's such a... Like I say, it's such an intriguing... an intriguing matchup, and I can't pick a winner if I'm honest with you, Gareth. I
think rather like we would look at a Daniel Dubois or a Fabio Wardley. I think David Adelaye's got to use his physicality and muscularity and power against Hrgovic and impose himself.
Yeah,
because otherwise, I think Hrgovic is the kind of fighter who can demoralise you. I mean, since his defeat to Daniel Dubois, people have forgotten. He's become a forgotten man. But look what happened.
Gone to Abel Sanchez as well, which is a big thing.
Great trainer. One of the great trainers, Gennady Golovkin. He worked with all those guys. I was there
with Abel Sanchez.
Yeah,
we almost lived together in a complex in Big Bear.
Yeah.
And Abel Sanchez...
So in the time of Golovkin?
Yeah, in the time of Golovkin, when Golovkin was the first two Canelo fights, where I spent time in camp with Golovkin. I was very privileged.
Is that the time when a bear ran away from Golovkin when he went for a run?
Listen, somebody would run away from Golovkin. Golovkin is another subject.
Modern great.
The most ferocious fighter I've ever seen in a gym, Gareth, and a gentleman. So big shout out to Gennady Golovkin. What a guy. But going on to Abel Sanchez, he just is old school. The term old school is Abel Sanchez. It's get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, no matter what the conditions are, and you run. And you run until your legs are hurting. So that's Abel Sanchez. It's just hard graft. And you saw that, the fitness you saw he was breathing heavy, but he had the second wind, the second and third gear, which he didn't have in the Daniel Dubois fight, and Daniel Dubois took him out. But it was a must-win fight for Filip Hrgovic in his career at that stage. And listen, Filip's got to... It's another must-win fight for him, isn't it, against David Adeleye? Because he'll think, this guy's not at my level. I'm an Olympic bronze medalist.
Finally, before we go to break, back to Moses Itauma. If we look at his career right now...
Yeah.
And he deals with Dillian white-handedly.
Yeah.
And he looks very impressive. And he gets a knockout or he gets an early stoppage.
Yeah.
And he looks phenomenal, as he has done so far.
Yeah.
And people start to talk about Turki Al-Sheikh's tweet at the Daniel Dubois-Alexander Usyk fight. Turki sitting ringside, tweeting through his X account, I want to see Moses Itauma against Alexander Usyk. For me, take it. Take that fight. Because, yes, it's the chance he's going to be old man by Alexander Usyk. It's two southpaws, two lefties against each other. Yeah. But if he can earn 20 million at this stage in his career, I know it's early, but why not take the opportunity?
I personally think in that fight, Usyk would have to be heavily compensated for that fight. Massive money. Because it's all to lose for Usyk. He's fighting a kid. An unproven kid.
Yeah, so he should be able to deal with it.
I would. Yeah, but if
Turkey will compensate.
But if you're Moses
Moses
Itauma, I think that kid has enough about him to think, of course I'll fight him.
Yeah.
Whenever I've spoke to Moses Itauma, nothing seems to faze him, and I think it'd probably be Ben Davison to be thinking, hold on a minute, I don't want to just slow down here. But Moses Itauma, I think, has got enough about him to go in there and fight. I think, if the opportunity's there, there's nothing to lose for Moses Itauma, everything to gain.
And if Turki Al-Sheikh's putting it forward, don't worry, there'll be compensation for Alexander Usyk. If it isn't Alexander Usyk, is it Joseph Parker next? Is it Ajit Kabayel? Is it Fabio Wardley? Who is it?
Well, he's in that mix, isn't he?
Yeah.
If he disposes of Dillian White, I mean, it depends what Dillian we're going to see on the night. If it's the one against Richard Lartey, you've got to favour Moses Itauma. But if it's the Dillian of a few years ago, we're in for a great night.
Great stuff. Sam Jones with me all night tonight. Up next, Dave Allen. You're listening to Fight Night on talkSPORT. Welcome back to Fight Night on talkSPORT with me, Gareth Davies, and him, the boxing agent Sam Jones, who's with me all the way through to 11 o'clock tonight. Well, joining us now, live from his home in Doncaster, is the very famous Dave Allen of talkSPORT fame at Wembley Stadium the other night. Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Look, I've seen you running around children's playgrounds and water parks with the kids, enjoying your family for the last couple of weeks, and rightly so. But now, sir, you have a big fight coming up against Arslanbek Makhmudov. What on earth were you doing picking the hardest one out of 5, as Eddie Hearn explained it?
Well, really, I was hoping for an easier one back at Sheffield. I was hopeful. I thought I might get an easier one going back home. But that wasn't looking likely. So I thought, well, if I'm going to box someone really, really good, I might as well box the best one of the lot. So from the list I got, I thought he was the best. I thought he looked the meanest.
Definitely.
And stylistically, I thought I had the best chance of beating him as well, to be honest. So that was why I took it.
And you're going to headline at the Sheffield Arena on the 11th of October, is that right? Or the 10th of November? Which one is it?
11th of October.
11th of October. I was just reading numbers out here. We're not sure which way around it was. Great moment for you, David. And do you go into camp soon for that, or do you wait till perhaps September?
Oh no! This is the new me. I've been back training for a while. Been in camp, proper camp, 2 weeks now. I knew this date from a while ago. So yeah, been back at it since the Fisher fight. I've been back in the gym. You know, there's always something going off in the gym. There's always someone boxing. You know, so I'm always in the gym. So yeah, I'm a different person now. There's no worries of me not being fit. There's still a worry that I might turn up a bit overweight, but that won't be the case this time. So yeah, things are going really well, and we've got 9 weeks training left, and we'll beat Makhmudov, then bigger fights again.
Eddie Hearn explained that. I've seen him give several interviews saying that, you know, he was pleasantly surprised about the way you went about it, and he said genuinely that victory against Makhmudov would throw you into the mix with really big fights, potentially world championship fights, Deontay Wilder fights. I mean, really, really big names. And he said paydays in the millions.
7 figures.
7-figure paydays. I mean, that must get your butt out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, you know, it's difficult because it's hard not to look past. It's hard not to look at that even. But Makhmudov, you know, be the best win of my career. You know, people keep telling me, like, all you got to do is win the body and take him a few rounds. I'm not Ajit Caballel. I wish I was Ajit Caballel. I'd be over the moon. If I woke up as Ajit Caballel tomorrow, I'd probably be an happy man. So yeah, for me, like, I'm not Caballel. I'm not Tyson Fury. I'm not Alexander Usyk. I'm Dave Allen. I'm not a bad fighter, but Arslanbek Makhmudov is a big ask for me. So this already is my world title fight. You know, talks of Wilder, Joshua, Parker. Great, but if I don't beat Makhmudov, it'll never happen.
We enjoyed you very much at Wembley Stadium. I know it was your first appearance there and your first appearance in the commentary team on talkSPORT. I loved working with you all week. I even made you a cup of coffee on the night, if you recall. Keep you going. And the fans and the supporters and the listeners and the viewers really enjoyed you. Did you enjoy the week of commentary, commenting, being involved in it all from ringside?
Yeah, I'm a boxing fan. That's all I am, really. Just a big boxing fan. So all success I've had as a boxer really just been amazing for me. I've been around some of the best boxers. I've been in sparring camps with world heavyweight champions. You know, I'm in a gym now full of, you know, champions and future champions, and yeah, I really enjoyed doing it. Actually, I did. You're a fun guy to be with, Gareth. To be honest, never a dull moment. So
we had a bit of fun. We definitely had a bit of fun. Well, Sam Jones was singing your praises as well when we were doing the talk up today and going over the running order, saying, you know, about your friendship going back many years.
Yeah,
Dave didn't like me. He didn't like me.
Yeah, I didn't like him at first. No. When I first
what's not to like about Sam Jones? Come on, spill the beans.
Do you know what? It takes some getting used to. I think he's like he's hard to explain. Really, he's out on them lollipops. That's a bit sour at first, and then you get through that sourness, and you think, oh, it's not too bad. This actually. So it's been a long time now. I think I met him when he was working with Joe Joyce, and he manages a lot of my friends. Just does a great job for him. Helped me out a little bit as well. So yeah, I would say we're friends now. We've gone from me wanting to strangle him at times to being friends. So it's quite a nice turnaround, really.
I even pay for Dave's haircuts now as well, and he's also not had one since the last time I've saw him. So we need to sort that mop out, Dave, before we go any further. But yes. Awesome back, Makhmudov. It's a great fight for you, isn't it, Dave? I spoke to you about it today. You said you picked the heaviest one. He is someone you'd see on a Halloween park, isn't he? Makhmudov.
He is.
He's scary
like
looking man
coming forward, but he comes forward.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, he's not a finessed fighter. He's an aggressive 6'5" man who throws his hands. And that's how he likes to fight. And it's exposed him at times as well. Yeah, and that's what Dave has to do.
Yeah, listen, Dave said it right there. He's not Ajit Caballero, but Dave's now a fit Dave Allen. The Dave Allen of years ago, you'd have been thinking, this is a ridiculous fight. But the Dave Allen that's taking boxing seriously now, no, you've got two young kids, a family to provide for. That mature Dave Allen, I honestly believe, will beat Makhmudov. But it's not going to be an easy task like what people have said. Watch the fight against Cabo, like what Dave said there, and said, oh, you just got to hit him to the body. If boxing was that simple, we'd all be able to do it, wouldn't we? But Dave's got a tough job on his hands, but I think that it's the correct opponent for him to bring the best out of Dave. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think I watched him and I thought, but 33 pro fights and everyone, all the good ones have boxed me because I thought better of standing there and having a fight with me because I wouldn't say I'm good at fighting. I'm cuter than people think. I make people miss more. I can punch a little bit. I've only got little T-Rex arms. If you get close to me, I can belt you from about 4 inches away. So, so yeah, Makhmudov, I think will play into my hands. You know, as dangerous as he is, what he does, I'm comfortable against, and I think people will be surprised. My counter punching, my speed, and while it's a massive step up, and you know, I think he'd be the rightful favourite. I just fancy the matchup really. When I watched a lot of him, I just really fancied it. I thought, yeah, he'll suit me. For the first time in my career, I'm going to box one that's going to have a go at me.
Dave, I need to know something. Are we coming out to Fields of Gold and My Way, or is it going to be something different for the Sheffield Arena?
Yeah, of course. You know, people say why do you do all of the lights like Kell Brook, but you got Kell Brook, you got Nas Dalton Smith. You know, I'm putting myself in, you know, up with them guys, them names that have headlined Sheffield. So we're going to do My Way. We're going to do Fields of Gold, and I genuinely think it might sell out. You know, I sold more tickets in the first 4 hours last night than I ever had for any other fight ever. Couldn't believe it. I'm going to sell thousands. And
what's the capacity? Is it 9,000, David?
We're going to have to open up for 10, Gareth.
Okay.
Go on the Rhino. Go on the sellout Rhino.
So how much will it give you to do that walk, to come into those theme tunes, to have prepared so hard, to know what it means, what can come next, to know that you can buy half a street in Donny, to know that you can open that restaurant I've been nagging you to open for a while, and stand there in your big apron and feed everyone. What will it mean to you to have this? Will that lift you?
You know what? I'm nervous already, actually. I went in the kitchen earlier and I put my hands on my hips and I said, I'm not sure what I've done here. I said to my missus, I literally went in there and just started like huffing and puffing. I said, what have I done? She's like, what do you mean? I said, don't know why I'm boxing in. Don't know what's happened here. Could have had an easier one than this. But, I mean, that's good, you know, because all day I've been looking at cakes and that and biscuits, and every time I look at them, I think, Matt Madov will take me off if I eat that. So I think he's putting the right amount of fear in me. I'm doing the right training. I just know if I put a foot wrong, I'm going to get put over. I'm going to get put away, and I can't allow that. So yeah, all systems go, and I'm confident. For 22 hours of the day, I'm confident, but I get little things, little like moments come over me. I'm like, what have I done? But yeah, we'll be all right. Hopefully,
you're going to be. Just fine,
I think you're about to go into the 2-3 years of your prime as a heavyweight right now, and I think what we felt when we were with you for a week, what we felt after the two Fisher fights was, here's a person. I know you're very self-effacing. You're always putting yourself down. There's a great honesty about you, which we all love about you, particularly the fans. But I think there's a confidence in you, a steeliness that is growing all the time, in spite of you putting yourself down.
You know, I do feel confident. Yeah, if you'd have said to me a year ago, you know, I was about Matt Madov, and I said I'm not sold in that boxing. But now I feel like I can compete with anyone now. I really feel I can. I still don't think I'm the best heavyweight in the world. I still don't think I'm one of the best heavyweights in the world. But I think I can compete with anybody if I get in the right shape, do the right things, and compete with anyone. And when you can stay with them for a few rounds, you can beat them.
Final one, Dave, before we say goodbye for now, and it'd be great to have you in soon again. Do you look back on that Alexander Usyk performance against Daniel Dubois? You're very critical at the time of the corner and the party and those kind of things. Are we looking at greatness in Alexander Usyk?
Yeah, I still think Dubois was poor, though.
Yeah.
A lot came out after the fight. I still think he was poor. It was a poor performance for an undisputed title fight. Usyk, obviously, you know, he's an all-time great, but I still thought Daniel was poor. But I would have boxed Matt Madov in 11 weeks, and Daniel Dubois might be laughing his head off if Matt Madov chins me. So we can all have our opinions, can't we? And that's mine.
Have a great night, Dave. Say hello to the family. Thanks very much for joining us on Fight Night. Cheers, mate.
See you later, Dave.
Bye-bye. See you later. Bye, mate.
This is Fight Night and talkSPORT. Up next, we have Joshua Buatsi, the light heavyweight.
10K for Coldplay.
Well, welcome back to Fight Night on talkSPORT. You've only got a few days left to enter our huge prize draw to win 10 grand and a VIP night out at Coldplay at Wembley Stadium. That's right, we're giving you the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates on August the 22nd with full hospitality. And we're chucking in that 10 grand spending money completely tax-free. But it all ends on Monday. So here's how to enter. 18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word WIN, W-I-N, to 83338 by the 4th of August at 11 p.m. and you're in the draw. Texts cost £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission, or post your name and number to Coldplay Competition, P.O. Box 3190, Colchester, CO2 8GP, to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK station. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Well, that's a read and a half. Now, I've just been admonished through your mobile device by Mr. Carl Frampton.
Yeah.
Two-weight world champion, brilliant fighter, of course. Had the privilege and the pleasure of covering his career. Now he's a brilliant broadcaster on TV and radio and all those things, and a great face-off guy. And he was number 8 in the pound-for-pound list at one point.
Shout out the Jackal.
Shout out the Jackal, indeed. So I'm sorry for forgetting you, Carl. And then Nazim Hamid, Lennox Lewis, Ricky Hatton, Carl Froch, and who else have I forgotten? That's probably about it for now.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get some more texts.
They'll all be texting. Well, thank you very much for listening tonight. Look, Joshua Buatsi. He was about to join us. We may get him later on the show. Joshua Buatsi has revealed a promotional deal this week with Frank Warren's Queensbury Promotions.
Yeah.
Queensbury, of course, we're going to be at the event, Joshua, Moses Itauma and Dillian White, which is also a Queensbury event in Riyadh on August the 16th, to reiterate. So Buatsi, who began his career with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom after the Rio Olympics, had been fighting under Ben Shalom's boxer banner on Sky Sports since, I think, early 2023. He had a brilliant fight with Callum Smith, lost via unanimous decision in Riyadh.
Great fight.
Thrilling fight.
Great fight.
The Smiths won't like me for this. I scored that a draw on the night, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I ended up giving 6. I didn't... The optics of the fight, I gave to Callum Smith.
The king of controversy, aren't you,
Yeah, the king of controversy,
King of controversy.
Batter me if you like, but that's what my card said. But the optics on watching it, and this does happen when you're watching a fight sometimes, said Callum Smith. So completely understood the unanimous decision victory. But after spells with Matchroom and Boxer, what has made Queensbury the right move for Joshua Buatsi at this stage in his career, in your view? For me, it's the perfect storm.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect move for Joshua Buatsi at this stage in his career. It's a crucial stage in his career. I think, how old is Josh? Josh now 31, something like that. Yeah. So he's in the peak years of his career, and he's gone to Hall of Fame promoter Frank Warren. Good move for him.
There's some great fights out there yet to have.
Yeah.
The Anthony Yarde fight that we really want to see. Obviously, Anthony Yarde is signed to fight David Benavidez in November.
That fight would have already happened. I want that fight to happen. Even now, it's still a great fight. I know Yarde's fighting David Benavidez, that's a huge ask for Anthony Yarde, but
South versus East London.
It's just a great fight.
It's an O2 Arena sellout.
Yeah, it's just such a great fight, and hopefully we the boys and the managers and the promoters get it together, and we can get that fight. But now they're under the same banner at Queensbury. You would imagine that we're closer than ever to get that fight. But again, Anthony Yarde's got a huge task on his hands, and I've heard Josh Buatsi's got a fight of his own coming up. So yeah, they've both. Listen, you need dance partners in boxing, and they're each other's dance partners. Local derby, great fight.
When we're on that subject, David Benavidez, I think one of the great light heavyweights out there at the moment. You could argue that he's, I think, probably number 3 in the division, behind Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev.
Yeah.
And hopefully we see him in against both of those two at some point. How do you see the fight between Benavidez and third-time World Championship attempt for Anthony Yarde?
If we get the Anthony Yarde that boxed the Beterbiev...
Oh, we're going to have some fight. It's going to be a very similar fight.
That is going to be a barn burner if we get that Anthony Yarde. But like, if you look at Anthony Yarde's career, it's like he fights there's a few steady opponents, monster. A few steady opponents, monster. Like it's
But the monsters get the best out of him.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I think Yarde is one of those people where I think now, especially at this stage of career, the better the opponent, the better he'll perform. And he's just been unlucky. He's coming up against these monsters for the world heavyweight title. But look, Frank Warren's done a great job with Anthony Yarde. He's a big name, and Anthony Yarde just shows each and every time, which you've got to give him his props. He takes on these monsters. He fights anybody. And but like I say, going back to the Buatsi situation, I would love to see those two boys get it on.
Absolutely right. I would as well. And I would love to see Yarde in against Callum Smith, who's also in that mix.
Fight.
I've just mentioned him as well.
Yeah.
What's he doing? Is he going to fight the winner
David Morrell?
He's in with David Morrell. That's right.
I believe so. They're in talks. I don't know whether it's done yet. I don't know whether it's done yet, but I know they're in talks to make that fight.
And before we talk about the guys and girls who are kind of floating in the jetsam and flotsam at the moment, and deciding where they're going to go, if they're going to stay with Boxer or not, or what's going to happen with that. Beterbiev and Bivol, we need to see that trilogy, don't we?
You could watch them two fight every they should only just fight each other for the rest of their careers.
Yeah.
It's absolutely...
Moscow, maybe, we're hearing.
And I think they both deserves to probably be there. But like I say, you'd watch it anywhere, wouldn't you? Doesn't matter if it's Riyadh, your garden, Moscow, it doesn't matter. Those two produce unbelievable fights every single time. And you know, just because of their styles, you're going to get a great fight every single time. Two absolute brilliant fighters.
24 rounds of, like you say, majestic boxing between them so far. And I do favour Dmitry Bivol in that third fight.
Same.
The age of Beterbiev.
I think he won the first fight as well.
I had Beterbiev winning the first one.
I think he's won both. But at the same time, they're both close fights, aren't they? Like
What's brilliant?
Some scored Beterbiev winning both. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I'm not knocking Beterbiev because I think he's just a great fighter. They're two amazing fighters.
When you see the silhouettes of those two moving, they both fight their own fight.
Yeah.
To the point where
it's a typical thing of two styles gelling perfectly.
They're absolutely perfect. And I'm a huge fan of both men. They are brilliant to be around. Beterbiev's character is coming out. It's very dry sense of humour. He likes to put it on you a little bit. Have you experienced that from him or not?
I've not. I've met him once at the Riyadh.
So you played it sensibly with him, did you?
I just shook his hand and it was like shaking two bricks.
Yeah, exactly. Concrete.
Oh God, yeah. Hands are massive.
Right, so the Boxer, to go on to this subject with Boxer, where obviously the Sky Sports deal is over.
Yeah.
For Boxer, Ben Shalom's Boxer. And Boxer fighters are reportedly facing a period of uncertainty due to a lack of clear communication from the promoter about the promotion's future and its broadcast deals.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, Adam Azim, very much a rising star in the lightweight division. Ben Whittaker, a rejuvenated light heavyweight, a star after tripping out of the ropes in Riyadh and controversy and the rematch with Liam Cameron. Great fun that was. Caroline Dubois. They're all reportedly unsure about their immediate futures.
Callum Simpson, Fraser Clark, the list goes on and on, doesn't
exactly.
it?
That, Lauren Price, Fran Hennessy, all fighting under that Sky banner and Boxer banner. If you were managing them now, what would you be advising them to do? Do we know where Boxer are heading towards?
I'd get out of
there. Are they going to another platform?
I'd get them out of there. I'd get them out of there because, listen, remember, I speak to a couple. I'm not going to name them because I don't want to get them into trouble, but I speak to some of the fighters and there's no transparency. There's no it's radio silence. You can't do that. Communication is key. Communication is key. If there was communication, there'd be a different answer. But because of the non-communication, I'd be. Listen, we're off ski. We'll be going on our merry way.
Is that a worrying time for them though?
No, because they're all fighters that will get deals like that. So no, it's not. In fact, it's an exciting time for them.
But what if they're under contract for a certain number of fights? And yet there's no broadcast deal. Does that annul that in contract terms?
Yeah, listen, a lot of the fighters that you've mentioned there, from my belief, I'm not going to say 100% certain, but I believe that if they're not on Sky, it will make them free agents. But I'm not 100%.
So they will have signed a deal. I know you're not 100%, but ostensibly, when you're looking at a managerial contract in that sense, or an agent contract, you're normally signing with that promoter on that broadcaster.
I think no.
With that broadcaster.
Listen, Boxer were not a newish company. I know they had their deal with the BT at the time. It was then BT. They were doing the prize fighter, the prize fighter type tournaments, and then they got their deal at Sky. Listen, Ben Shalom done a great job to get that contract. Listen, people bash him, and listen, I've had my dealings with Ben Shalom, but he's done a great job to get the Sky contract. But the reality is, the biggest selling point for a fighter to go to Ben Shalom was the fact that you're going to box on Sky Sports. You no longer can deliver that. So it looks like it's over.
I remember Fran Hennessy's had 6 fights. They've all been on Sky.
Yeah,
so
yeah. But it's like, what's happened to Fran Hennessy? Like she's a great talent.
Well, we're going to hear from her later because I took her paddleboarding.
You did? Okay.
You'll see that later on. There's a whole feature filmed of us.
Did Mick Hennessy go paddleboarding?
Well, I had a third board with me, but it wasn't, let's say it wasn't wide enough to have
Go on, Mick.
He'll forgive me for saying that. I think I've known Mick 30 years, and he's no wider now than he was 30 years ago, to be honest.
Oh, Mick's a great fun. I was in Japan with Mick for the Japanese prize fight. He had me in stitches. I go in stitches the whole time I was there.
You've got to remember, I don't think enough praise is given to Mick Hennessy, because years ago, only twice has he ever said to me, "You've got to watch this person because I genuinely have a superstar on my hands." The first time was in 2008 in Nottingham when Carl Froch...
knows his stuff, doesn't he? Knows his beans, doesn't he?
No, it wasn't Carl Froch. Carl Froch was fighting Jean Pascal for the WBC super middleweight title. He said, "There's a gypsy or a traveller with curly ringlets making his debut on this card," and it was Tyson Fury with the Egans who were coaching him at the time. Big John was there. Huey and Shane were there. Yeah. Huey was about 13. He looked about 18 with a beard. And it was Tyson Fury. And he said, "Gareth, you've got to watch this guy. Do not miss him."
Good eye for talent, Mick.
And the other one was 2 years ago. He said, he rang me up and he said, "Look, I know I told you that loads of people say there's talent coming through in boxing, but I've got another one. You're not going to believe it, Gareth. It's my daughter." And I think Fran is a special talent. Yes. Obviously, we're going to hear from her later. Yeah. There's something about that girl where she wants to go on Strictly. She wants to go in the jungle and go on Celebrity. Yeah. She's just been to Parliament with Chris Webb MP to try and create a programme because she was a dyslexic, overweight 10-year-old.
There's one thing about Fran Hennessy, and I will say this, right? There's a lot of vanilla in life, right? Sport in life. There's a lot of vanilla. Fran Hennessy is not vanilla. No, she comes out, she dances, and whether you like it or not, you watch it. It gains views. And she goes in there and she performs.
She loves Naz Hammond.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah. You can see all that. But the more of that, the better. I want to see. So nobody wants to watch vanilla. So yeah, I want to see her back out. Like, this is what I mean. Like, it's unfortunate for all these top talented fighters. They're not. There's no schedule, there's no dates, and it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation.
The more competition, the better as well.
Absolutely.
Queensbury, Matchroom, Golden Boy, they're on DAZN.
Yeah.
There's Top Rank, we understand, joining forces potentially with another big powerhouse. Yeah. Their ESPN deal is over. We don't want to see them go anywhere. Bob Arum.
Healthy
Brad
competition,
Jacobs, very healthy competition.
That's what we
want Ben Shalom and Boxer to find a platform where they can compete.
Absolutely
indeed. Well, you're listening to Fight Night, watching Fight Night on talkSPORT with me, Gareth Davies, and him, the boxing agent, fascinating character that he is. We're going to have some more arguments tonight. Sam Jones. We'll be back after this. To Fight Night on talkSPORT. I'm Gareth Davies. He is the boxing manager, Sam the Bearded One Jones. We're having a lot of fun in here tonight till 11 o'clock. Coming up in the next hour, what is the right move for Anthony Joshua? Will Daniel Dubois and Frank Warren get Derek Chisora in a ring with Dynamite? We reflect on Daniel Dubois' Partygate. Ty Mitchell joins us on the line, and Tyler Goodjohn, the bare knuckle fighter, massive character, joins us in the last two sections of this hour. This is Fight Nights on talkSPORT. Right, Sam. Anthony Joshua. Let me lay this out, because
I'm looking forward to this one,
I say you've got more views than a flock of seagulls over the ocean. Jake Paul's manager, Nakisa Bidarian, has told Sky Sports that a fight with Anthony Joshua, I quote, can absolutely happen. I think we're looking at it happening at the start of 2026. It's public that AJ was taking a little time away. I think he had a little surgery. So once he's ready and once Jake is ready, we're going to squarely focus on that. I was with Jake Paul in the ring a couple of weeks ago for us at talkSPORT at Dubois, Usyk Dubois. He reconfirmed he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, potentially at Wembley Stadium. There's also rumours that Anthony Joshua could be fighting the Rio 2016 Olympic super heavyweight champion Tony Yoka of France. Obviously, Joshua was the 2012 champion, so it's 2 Olympic champions. What is the next best move for Anthony Joshua at this point in his career? Take it away.
The guy's on the screen. Listen, if the Jake Paul fight happens for Anthony Joshua, people will complain like they always do. There's going to be but it will be the most viewed fight probably in the history of boxing because of the main reason why I would tune into this, and it sounds strange, but do you remember when Simon Cowell used to say on Britain's Got Talent, when a magician used to come on, they used to lock themselves, I don't know, in a water box and they had to escape, and it was the jeopardy. I want to watch it because of the sheer jeopardy in that fight.
It's Car Crash TV.
Yeah, it's Car Crash TV. Yeah, and listen, you want Jake Paul to be safe, no matter what you think of the guy. You want him to be safe, but there's real jeopardy in that fight, like getting hit by Tommy Fury and Julio Cesar Chavez at.
Well, he didn't even get hit by Julio Cesar Chavez. He didn't do anything for 8 rounds
getting hit by a right hand by Anthony Joshua.
Look what happened to Francis Ngannou when he got hit by the right hand.
This is what I'm saying. Like, and I do think Jake Paul's mad enough to do the fight because he just knows well,
he's got the balls. He's got the cojones to do it.
Absolutely. But I just think he's mad enough because I think he'll just think. I think Jake Paul, and I mean this, Gareth, I think that guy's mad enough to believe he can win.
Right. So, hammer down. I do not believe this fight should be sanctioned or licensed because it's not safe for Jake Paul, because we are looking at a area level cruiserweight, stroke heavyweight, an area level, a local area UK level, British level fighter. He's already lost to Tommy Fury, who is a very.
I do think he's getting better though.
He is getting better, but very much a neophyte boxer. So in safety terms, I don't think it should be sanctioned. In promotional terms, you hit the nail on the head. It is so unmissable. It will probably make so much money. Yeah. We've heard Eddie Hearn hint at this, and Nikisa talking about it, Bidarian talking about this, and Jake Paul confirming it. The only person that hasn't is Anthony Joshua. He's keeping mum about it. This fight, in my view, is going to happen.
Oh, I think so as well. From what I'm hearing, it's going to happen as well.
There's going to be this crescendo leading towards the fight where we critique it and critique it and critique it all the way
till the cows come home,
till that bell rings, and we will not believe that we're actually watching it, and we'll probably be there for talkSPORT. We'll probably have Dave Allen and you working in the team.
Yes, please. I'll be there. I'll be there. No problem.
But there's something in your heart and in your head that says, please, Lord, something else happen in the meantime to stop this happening. Even though you're going to watch it.
It's one of those things, isn't it, Gareth? You're kind of thinking to yourself, oh, this really shouldn't happen. But then the other side is you're thinking, it's like me, myself, and Irene. You're thinking the guy's like two split. You're thinking, part of you's thinking, no, it shouldn't happen. But you're thinking,
but I'll watch it.
I would, so watchable.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so watchable because of the jeopardy involved. Yeah. The build-up would be insane. But you know, Jake, fantastic promoter. Whatever we want to think of Jake Paul,
he'll get Jarrell Miller with him.
He's a tremendous self-promoter.
No, he's a genius marketeer.
He's
absolutely
marketing genius.
And I've been around him quite a lot, and I know him fairly well, and I have a relationship with him. And he's very clever in what he does. He even has counselling by a very special woman called Susie, who helps him with all the hatred he gets online, because it does have an effect. And I'm sure you know what it's like, because you get a lot of hate.
Why are you saying that, Gareth?
You get a lot of hate.
So do you.
Yeah, no, I know, but I just don't listen to it.
It comes with the territory, doesn't it?
You love it, though.
It comes
you
with the territory.
You respond to it. I mean, you know, I've got loads of hate on my feed towards you tonight.
Have you?
No, of course not. No, because...
What are they saying?
They're not saying anything.
Are you having to go at my weight?
You've got a thing about your weight at the moment.
I've got nothing wrong with the weight, Gareth.
What, are you 14, 15 stone at the moment?
Are you joking? I'll climb over that
13
table,
stone?
Gareth. I'm 13 stone flat.
Are you? I am as well.
Flat.
I'm 13 stone flat
Of
as well.
sheer...
What do you reckon, then? Should we be on the undercard?
Me versus you. How much? Who's the A side in the fight, Gareth?
I don't know. It's pretty close, I think.
Gareth, I'm the A side.
I think
I'm not
the
having
bookies
this.
would go with you, but once I've head kicked you with an illegal head kick,
Yeah.
like...
Don't start doing that. We'll pull out. The Tommy Fury, Darren Till build up and pull out.
So
Don't
back to reality.
Yes.
AJ against Jake Paul. I honestly think it's going to happen.
From what I'm being told,
I'm hearing in the background.
I was going to say, like, I've heard even tonight that it could even be close to being
signed.
to being signed. And like I say, don't be shocked when this happens, because like we say, there's going to be a lot of people that criticise it, but ultimately there's going to be a boatload of money to be made. The promoters, Eddie, Nick, the MVP. There's so much money involved in that fight. And if you're Anthony Joshua, it's a no-brainer. If anyone criticises Anthony Joshua, you're a fool.
But Anthony, I mean, I've got to say this as well. That even though I don't think the fight should be sanctioned, I don't really want to see him in the ring against Tony Yoka. I don't think it does anything for him. If he fights anyone, he should be fighting Tyson Fury.
It's not,
in my view, it should be a fight with Tyson Fury. That's as big a behemoth, as big a commercial beast. Absolutely. You're going to tell me that Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul is bigger than Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury?
It is, commercially. Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul commercially is bigger. But what I'm saying is, as a British boxing fan, and the amount of times, right,
you need to see Fury
I've been sat even in this very studio. I've been asked about Tyson Fury against AJ. We have to see that fight before both of those two men sail off. I know Tyson Fury's retired and he unretires, and he retires and he unretires, but we have to see that fight for British boxing. They both owe the British boxing fans that fight.
I'm already purple in the face from saying it, and it requires...
It's boring almost, isn't it, thinking about?
Well, it's an era-defining fight. I mean, I would like to have seen Anthony Joshua when Deontay Wilder beat Jay Herndon. I'd like to have seen Wilder and Joshua fight still.
Absolutely.
And then I'd like to have seen Joshua and Fury fight.
Yeah.
There was talk about Fury having a tune-up fight against a Kubrat Pulev and then facing Joshua. We don't know what's happening in the background at the moment in terms of Tyson Fury. He doesn't look like he wants to fight particularly at the moment.
Listen, with Tyson will wake up one day and think another thing, and then go to bed and think another thing. But one thing for certain is, right, and we're all not bored of hearing about it, the heavyweight division's a better place with Tyson Fury because he's a huge name. He attracts big audiences, and whatever you think of Tyson Fury, he's a massive name, and if he comes back to the heavyweight division, it's a welcome addition.
No, but he's divisive, he's controversial, he's entertaining, he's
but let's see the fight, Gareth.
I agree.
I
agree.
We need to see
have we got any audio from Frank Warren, by the way, talking about Daniel Dubois fighting Derek Chisora after the words from Derek Chisora? I wonder if we can hear that. Maybe we don't have Frank Warren on that. Frank Warren said this week, after Derek Chisora accused Daniel Dubois of quitting, that let's see those two in a ring together. I like that fight, you know.
Me too. I think
it promotes them both.
Listen, and Derek's number one in the IBF, so it makes sense for Daniel. But listen, if Derek's had strong words about Daniel Dubois, well, get it on. Great fight. Absolutely brilliant fight.
I agree. There's jeopardy there now, and there's heat.
Absolutely, and there's the history there with Don Charles, who was more than a coach to Derek Chisora throughout his whole career. He's now coaching Daniel Dubois. It's a real. It'll be an interesting build up. It always is with Derek, and he's had, as I say, strong words towards Daniel and his last performance against Usyk. So, throw it down and get it on. And
you and I haven't had a chance to speak either together or individually about finally on Daniel Dubois on Partygate, the party at the home in Essex before he fought Alexander Usyk on the night, and the shenanigans that went on with the group of guests and friends who couldn't get in, and the lateness to the arena and all those things. I will say there's a cradle here in which we have to say they did the same before the Anthony Joshua fight as well. They had a housewarming party or a house party for Daniel. I think they like to keep him occupied and his attention taken before a fight. A lot of people think it's not ideal. What was your take on it?
Well, Daniel Dubois beat Anthony Joshua, one of the best heavyweights of this current generation. And before that fight, I've seen the video myself. I wouldn't say house party. It was just more of a gathering. It was music playing and Daniel was on the treadmill. It was almost like, listen, his dad's took a lot of stick in regards to the party, Gareth. Whatever you want to call it, party gathering. But his dad only wants what's best for Daniel, right? He just wants what's best for him, right? And he knows his son. And if it's good enough for the Anthony Joshua fight, they probably thought, you know what? Maybe even a superstition. Let's do it for Alexander Usyk. And if Daniel would have won, what would we have been saying? It's just one of those things.
If he had just gone into the arena and there hadn't been an argument about getting all the guests in and then walking away and coming back again, I don't think there would have been any issue with that. I think it was. I think people have got it in for the father. In my view, they've got it in for the father. I think he's done an extraordinary thing with his family. I mean, I've been lucky enough to be in camp with Daniel Dubois.
Yeah.
I know Stan, his father. I've sat down, had a conversation with Stan. He's an extraordinary human being with 11 children.
Yeah.
You know, Caroline, Solomon. Solomon is a 12-year-old who wants to be a world champion. He plays the cello and the saxophone. He's fluent in Chinese. He's a wonderful little human being.
He is. Very intelligent
There's
kid.
Prince, who's boxing as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I visited them when they lived down in Greenwich.
Yeah.
And I met them at the local leisure centre 10 years ago when Daniel was
Special
signing.
family.
They are special. I mean, Stan used to make Daniel Dubois do press-ups for 2 hours. He did them for 5 hours a couple of times. Just imagine that. And Daniel just did it.
I can't do 5 press-ups. Never mind for 5 hours or 2 hours. But
See, that's why you're 15 stone.
Listen, Gareth, I'm 13 stone, and we'll listen. But just quickly going on to that situation, you can give him all the stick in the world, but the bottom line is,
he's dedicated.
Listen,
to his children.
at Caroline Dubois. We'll take her for example, world champion, right? Could be the face of female boxing. The two sons, Prince and Solomon, want to be world champion. Who's betting against him? Daniel Dubois, heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah. He will come again.
Daniel is 27.
Yeah.
He boxed Joe Joyce, and I was in the opposite corner. And I said even to Frank Warren, this is a categoric fact, right? If he can get it right between his ears, right, his mind, he'll be heavyweight champion of the world. And he can again. He can come again, and he can become heavyweight champion of the world again. But his dad's a scapegoat of this situation.
I agree with that. He's very much a scapegoat.
He's a scapegoat.
He's painted as a villain.
Yeah, he's painted as a villain, a bit of a scapegoat of the situation. But ultimately, let's look at the success of his children.
Yeah, I agree. He's an incredibly successful father.
That's what I mean.
Incredibly successful
I wouldn't mind having that problem if my kids turn out to be world champions or speak Japanese and what it's unbelievable.
And on the subject of that, I want to wish good health to your son who hasn't been well this week.
Yes.
And he's at home now with mum.
He is. He's been in the Queen's Medical Hospital for a week. He had his appendix out. He's only 4 years old.
Very worried dad this week.
Yeah, I was a very worried dad.
Yeah.
He had his appendix out.
He's only 4.
Yeah, only 4. A baby. So. And listen, you don't know what real life is until you have been in a children's ward. And we bash the NHS, but shout out to the NHS. They've done a great job with my son this week. And as I say, I'm just happy he's home and healthy.
And that is that whole context of fatherhood and how important it is, that how much we care about our children. So anyone that's heavily criticising Stan Dubois, in my view, doesn't know how much he loves his children. You're listening to Fight Night on talkSPORT. We'll be back next with another interview.
Boxing Update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Buy now at dazn.com/boxing.
Welcome back to Fight Night on talkSPORT. I'm Gareth Davies, the boxing agent and training skiver. Sam Jones is still here in the studio with me. Tyler Goodjohn, legend of boxing and bare knuckle fighting, is here, as is director of BKB, Jim Freeman. Gentlemen, let's talk bare knuckle again. So, Tyler, tell me why bare knuckle is going to take over the world.
It's just so exciting, simple as that. You know, look, at the end of the day, the casual boxing fan wants to see knockouts, wants to see action, wants to see blood, and that's exactly what bare knuckle provides. So, you know, you can see the way that people are gravitating to it. You know, there's a lot of people who, like, even now when I say that I do bare knuckle, people are like, oh, what is that in the hay bales? And I'm like, no, it's O2.
No, well, they say, do you actually hit each other with your bare knuckles?
But as soon as they watch it, they're instantly a fan. So, and you'll see that, like, the people who come, if you go to a bare knuckle show, you're a bare knuckle fan.
Listen, I can subscribe to, I've been involved in fight sports for 35 years with MMA and boxing, and when I came to bare knuckle, first of all, I mean, Jim kindly invited me. I've done 7 events with you guys now, and I was absolutely stolen by it, if I'm honest. I just did not want to leave. And in fact, I had a talkSPORT show that night and left halfway through the show, Jim. And in bare knuckle, the action is so fast moving. The show is over in almost 3 hours. There's, I think, 80% knockouts in first and second round. It's coruscating action, and it just goes from strength to strength, doesn't it?
Yeah, most importantly, you don't know who's going to win. That's the benefit. So you get, you know, like, you go to a boxing show, you're really just there for the main or the co-main event. The undercard is just the undercard. With us, you know, the people come in, we open the doors at 3 o'clock, they're in there straight away, ready for the show to start at 5. You know, you saw when you was at Cardiff and that, you know, we had an atmosphere at 3:30, the place was full. You know, a glove boxing show, you don't get that often. I think it's changing now. The Saudi money and stuff is making the fights that people want to see, and that's bringing the revival of boxing, and I think that's great to see. But there's definitely a space for this, because it is just so exciting, and like I said, the average public do want to see knockouts.
The funny thing is, Sam, when you've been at a bare knuckle event, and then I did an event in Wolverhampton, then I did Liam Cameron and Ben Whittaker the day after on a Sunday, and you do feel that slowing of the action when you go back to a boxing event, and the evening, and I'm not criticising the way boxing is, but it feels like it's dragged till you get to the main event, or the last 2 or 3 events, or a 12-round super flyweight fight that you know will go 12 rounds. Well, not know, but will ostensibly go 12 rounds. It feels like you're watching either Test cricket or T20 cricket. That's almost the comparison.
Yeah, it's 2 different sports, isn't it? Like with boxing, you'll have a few prospects on the card where they will box somebody, a journeyman, as what we would call them, where they have to. There is the cards like, he's surely going to win. But listen, there is a space for something like bare knuckle boxing, because, like you say, if you don't know who's going to win, it's exciting, isn't it?
Interesting when the IBA, the International Boxing Association, had an event in Turkey recently, a symposium, and Tyson Fury was there, Terence Crawford. They had 2 bare knuckle fights on a card of 7 fights. Jazza Dickens was a winner on the night, and there was absolute silence in the room for the 2 bare knuckle fights, people literally sitting on the edge of their seats.
I've never been to watch one, ever.
You've got to go, because I think, I've got a feeling that eventually there may be an evolution, Jim, that we see a big main event, boxing event, like you say, the last 2 fights, and maybe the 6 fights before it could even be bare knuckle fights, because then you get the whole audience in watching it.
Yeah, that could be a thing, or we put on a show the day before and stuff. I think that's the natural,
like shoulder programming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, that's the natural progression, and you know, isn't for everyone, but combat sports isn't for everyone. But I think if you like combat sports, you love bare knuckle once you start watching it. That's
the other thing that I've found. You know, we get these extraordinary, when you're working on broadcast teams, you have your fighter meetings, as most people listening may not know, but we sit down for several hours, whether it's a boxing event, an MMA event, a bare knuckle event, and you get to interview, as the group of broadcast team, the broadcast team get to interview every fighter for 10 or 15 minutes, and the storylines of you guys, Tyler, is extraordinary. You've been through a lot personally in your life, and it's been a saviour for you in many ways, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. you know, a lot of things have happened, obviously, in my boxing career as well. So the way that, you know, it was pretty incredible how it happened. Obviously, I lost my license; it got revoked, and I remember thinking to myself, "Well, this is my job. I've been a professional fighter for 7 years, English champion." Lost my license, was sat there watching the TV, and it was Jim come up, and it was on the news discussing how it's the fastest growing sport in the world at the minute. And that's when I contacted you and was like, do you know what? I think this might be a bit of me. And yeah, here I am.
Every single time, Jim, that I have the privilege of working with you guys, I do find my notes afterwards, when I go back over them, there's 2 guys that were saved from suicide on a card of 25, women who've had extraordinary lives, people who've been in the military, people that are dealing with depression, people that have dealt with drugs and alcohol problems in their lives and turned their lives around. This is not just the odd person, it's literally everyone on the card.
Yeah, for us, it's nice to get perhaps what you'd class as some of the B-side boxers, their story out, because all fighters have got an interesting story. That's why they do it. You know, like, they're not doing it, a lot of these guys, for massive money, life-changing money that most of us would. So they're relatable characters. You know, they're full-time athletes, but also full-time fathers. You know, they're working full-time. So it's a really difficult for them sort of people. And most of them are just sort of fighting their inner demons. So it gives them an outlet. And it's great for us now that we're getting socially accepted as terms of bare-knuckle fighters, and they're getting the respect that they're due.
The thing is, and you'll know this, Sam, because you're an agent and you're very good at projecting you did a great job with Joe Joyce when he never used to say a word. It was like getting blood out of a stone. You'd sit there and trash talk other fighters. I think one of the heavyweights was going to beat you up. Who was it?
Bermain Stavern.
Bermain Stavern.
There's been a few.
You peed him off one day at a press conference. I was sitting there, and Bermain was getting out of his stool ready to destroy you.
I had a few too many coffees that day, Gareth, yes.
But the funny thing is, I mean, everyone knows here and working with me that I love a backstory. I love the narrative of fighters' lives, because apart from being able to fight, which we admire you all for doing, to be able to tell an extraordinary backstory
can save lives.
But it humanises that person. It brings the grannies to want to listen. It brings generations wanting to listen to the inspirational story of transformation.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. Sports, like in boxing, your kids go to amateur boxers to stay out of trouble, and you hear incredible stories. But listen, if bare knuckle boxing's doing that, and it's changing lives, and it's stopping you, from preventing you from doing bad things, and it's great. It's a welcome addition. I think. Listen, it's a sport that's growing.
Oh, and it's really growing. Jim,
I've never been, so I'm going to have to go to one.
You've got to come. No, it's very, very addictive.
Come see you, mate. Paulie get beat.
There you go.
There's the invite, isn't it? Yeah.
I'll commentate on the show. How about that?
Yeah, we get you in.
September the 6th, Bristol Ice Ring.
Okay, I'll be there.
Main event, isn't it?
September the 6th.
Yeah.
September the 6th, yeah.
Oh, I can't go.
No, I think it's September the 6th.
It is, yeah.
It is September the 6th.
Saturday.
The week before Canelo and Crawford.
There's a show, and I've got a few guys fighting on the show. But
we'll extricate you and bring you along.
I'll watch it. I'll make sure I'll watch it on my phone.
Yeah. Would you fancy a bare knuckle fight or not?
Would I fancy a bare? What are you trying to get me into here, Gareth?
Good. You showed me the guns earlier.
It won't be very good for long if I start having a scrap and bare knuckle.
So obviously, the event, BKB events, are now broadcast on talkSPORT on our YouTube channel as well. For everyone that's listening, please do listen in and watch it on August the 16th. The next event, BKB 44, and obviously Bristol will be on the channel as well. How I've heard the company say, I remember interviewing yourself and Joe Smith-Brown and Mike Vasquez, and talking to you all about how quickly the sport can grow. And there's the feeling genuinely within the company that you feel it could be as big as boxing in 2 or 3 years' time. Absolutely, yeah. No, if you're not aiming for that, then what are you really doing? And sometimes, when you're on this kind of journey and upward curve, you don't realise what you've already achieved. When we think about it, my first show was, in a barn with 100 blokes there. That was just like you'd imagine it. It's like a scene off Snatch, like everyone would imagine bare knuckle. So even to where we are now, sitting with you guys on talkSPORT, is a hell of an upward curve. And I think that now with the Americans, they bring a lot of razzmatazz to it, and they understand, to sell a product and whatnot a lot better than perhaps us Brits do sometimes. Adding that to it has really sort of pushed us forward to another level. So, well, there we go. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. Bare Knuckle Boxing has announced that former IBF Junior Welterweight and WBA Welterweight Champion Paulie Magic Man Malignaggi will face this man, Bare Knuckle veteran Tyler Goodjohn, at BKB 45 on September the 6th at the Ice Arena in Bristol, England. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. You're listening to Fight Night on talkSPORT. Welcome back to the final hour of Fight Night on talkSPORT. We've established tonight, I'm Gareth Davies, we've established tonight that Sam Jones, the boxing agent, skives the training sessions up in, where is it, in Derby, Sheffield?
It's about 5 minutes. And stop trying to get me beat up tonight, Gareth. You've done it a few times.
Well, I've got you, listen, I've got you a little intro to the bare knuckle guys. You've got chance to come and do some commentary with me, or even have a bare knuckle fight.
I will liven up their shows.
You're a young man, you know.
I'm getting on a bit now, though, Gareth.
What are you, 39?
39, you cheeky sod. I'm 36.
36. Perfect age to fight someone like Tyler Goodjohn in a bare knuckle fight.
Definitely not.
So he's fighting your mate,
Magic
Paulie
Man
Malignaggi on September the 6th in Bristol. But anyway, in the last hour, Leo Atang, the young heavyweight boxer, will join us. We'll look at your stable, if you like, of boxers that you manage. I've got a little paddleboard feature with Fran Hennessy, and we'll talk about the state of women's boxing and also the disgraceful drug taking in our sport. This is Fight Night on talkSPORT. Well, I've had a word in my ear from the producer. Stop giving Sam such a hard time. He's beginning to cave, he said. He's beginning
I'm dipping, am I? Thanks, producer.
Right, a recap. Galal Yafai has been reinstated. This is not a news story, nor is it a new story in the world of boxing. Galal Yafai reinstated as interim world champion. Francisco Rodriguez drug findings. VADA notified the sanctioning body on July the 8th last month about the Mexican's post-fight urine sample. The sample yielded an adverse analytical finding for heptaminol, and the following day, Matchroom announced the same. Obviously, they're all informed, as you know, as this happens. Mm-hmm. The sanctioning body informs the fighter, the agent, the promoter, the team, both sides of the equation. Heptaminol is a cardiac stimulant. It increases blood flow through the veins and arteries, which supply and drain the heart muscle while improving the capacity for efficient output. As such, by stimulating the central nervous system and muscle systems, it reduces
as it showed on
fatigue.
The night.
As it showed on the night. The WBC's clean boxing programme have insisted they would observe due process and have since investigated the circumstances surrounding 33-year-old Rodriguez's case. Now they've agreed to a year-long adjudication agreement with several consequences to come. Now, they've found the sample of the supplement that he took that had the stimulant in it. So he's kept a record, to be fair to Rodriguez, of what he had in his system and what he was taking. They've exonerated him in a sense. They've annulled the result. Yeah, they've reinstated Galal Yafai as the interim champion. But the problem is, he did have a stimulant in his body at the time, rightly or wrongly, deliberately or not. And in his case, he's saying not deliberately, mistakenly. Galal Yafai took a shellacking for 12 rounds and may never be the same boxer. He may never be the same person again. And this is a guy, a tenacious, forward-coming, counter-punching southpaw who had the world at his feet. And he may never recover, Sam, from that beating he took against Rodriguez, let alone being asked to step into the ring with him again. It doesn't seem right somehow to me, this story.
what's even more concerning is the fight before he'd failed a drug test.
Yeah, correct.
What's going on? What on earth's
Why
going on?
weren't Matchroom flagging it at the time?
But why hadn't that been like it? It's frightening, to be honest with you, that he's failed a drug test now in his second consecutive fight, and he's been reinstated to like it's a no contest, which that should have happened that's a foregone conclusion. It should be, but what are they gonna? Is Galal gonna have to fight him again? It's a very strange decision. It's a very, very strange decision, and like you say, Galal took a beating in that fight, and as you say, what it enhances, it showed on the night.
We haven't heard from Galal yet over this, have we?
Galal's the type of guy. Galal's not. He's not big on the social media and interviews. He's hard to get interviewed. So it's not his style. But I'm sure Galal will be angry. I know his brothers are. His brothers are very angry about what's happened, and I think he deserves better treatment than just a no contest. And as I say, like, what's he going to do? Have to fight him again? It's ridiculous, in my opinion.
It is ridiculous, and I think he should take as long as he wants to recover. I think he should be compensated. That's another side of it.
Yeah,
should be financially compensated. It's the most heinous thing in our sport because, you know, this is not darts. This is not
physical
fencing.
combat.
It's physical combat. It's an inherently dangerous sport. Rendering your opponent unconscious is part of the sport. We thrill to the knockout because it's part of the visceral nature of what we witness so many times. Knockouts are part of the lifeblood of the sport.
Yeah,
there is a certain bloodlust, whether we like it or not, and when it's through performance enhancing drugs, it's the science of it's a dark science, it's a dark art. And for me, and I don't know where you stand on this, I think as we reach an era in which medical science is more advanced, all of these things, there should be a better testing system in place.
Better protocol, yeah.
Faster protocols. If someone's tested, I mean, I had this argument with Adam Catterall in here the other day, that when, for example, Chris Eubank Jr. Was called up in front of the board for his sauna suit. This is a slightly different case, but if someone tests positive the night before a fight, if they are tested the night before a fight, we should know what the result is before they step into the ring. So,
yeah.
And if they are positive with something, the fight should not go ahead. You shouldn't be waiting retrospectively to find out that someone was carrying something in their system that's not permissible, and it's on a list for a certain reason. We will eventually, I'm not looking into a crystal ball, I'm not trying to soothsay, eventually someone will be on a murder rap for taking an illegal substance and their opponent dying in the ring. We haven't had it yet, but at some point it will happen.
You would hope we
hope it never happens.
Yeah, you would hope it's never going to be the case. But look, testing in boxing, like, people don't understand, it's very expensive as well. So when you see like some fighters I know in boxing have never been tested at all throughout their whole career. They've never been tested, but it's expensive. And as I say, like your Matchrooms, your Queensberries, they'll insist on the VADA testing. You've got UCAD as well. But like, listen, as you say, there has to be a better system and a better protocol for drug testing.
Turkey Al Sheikh has invested probably $1 billion in boxing so far in the last 2 years. I mean, it's not even 2 years yet. So if they can find a way of setting up a company that can test everyone all the way through,
yeah, we're all for it.
It'd be brilliant for the sport.
Absolutely.
And then if we do have, like you say, the protocols, if the protocol system is so strong, if someone does transgress, 4 years away, 6 years away, 10-year ban, and if people are banned for life, they will stop them doing it. It will
100%.
There has to be provision for accidental tainted supplements.
Yeah,
there has to be.
Yeah, that's why there's processes to follow. Like when someone does get done, they go through a process. They go through a process, and the results are what the results are. But like you say, it's a big thing in boxing, in our sport. It's a very, very big thing.
It's in the culture as well. It's in the culture of gyms. It's in the culture of bodybuilding. It
needs sorting.
You're in the nuts and bolts of the industry. There are people cheating in our sport.
100% there are. 100% there are. And as I say, the quicker it's cleaned up, the better. The better, because listen, like you say, the Galao Fire ones, it's a mad one. It really is. It's a crazy subject, because he took a hammering in that fight, and then he's getting popped, and then the worst thing in the world still baffles me. He's popped the fight before. It's insane.
It is insane. Insane is the word. You're listening to Fight 9 talkSPORT with me, Gareth Davies, and him, Sam Jones. Up next, the young heavyweight boxer Leo Atang.
10K for Coldplay.
You've only got a few days left to enter our huge prize draw to win 10 grand in a VIP night out at Coldplay at Wembley Stadium. That's right, we're giving you the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates on August the 22nd with full hospitality. And we're chucking in that 10 grand spending money completely tax-free, but it all ends on Monday. So here's how to enter. 18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word WIN, W-I-N, to 88883. Sorry, to 83338 by the 4th of August at 11 p.m. and you're in the draw. Texts cost £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission or post your name and number to Coldplay Competition, PO Box 3190, Colchester, CO2 8GP, to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Well, there's no skiving there, Sam Jones, for that read, was there?
Couldn't get out of that one.
Couldn't get out of that. Right. We have a live guest now, my friend. Leo Atang. Big Bang Atang.
One Bang
Atang. The young heavyweight boxer. Put a smile on his face.
He's always got a smile on his face.
1-0 via KO. Big Bang, one knockout. Atang, how are you this evening, sir?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Why is everyone sitting in their cars tonight?
There's a lot of car sitters. Where are you off?
I just assume that's like a quiet place because I've just been out for a meal, so I thought there's no point me driving with all my mates in the car. So I thought,
you're not going to the McDonald's drive-thru, are you, Leo?
Nah, don't worry. I had a nice little pasta tonight.
We had Ty Mitchell in the car. Whenever we speak to Nick Ball, he's in the car.
Yeah.
So where have you been tonight?
I went to San Carlos, treated myself to a nice little pasta and steak.
Oh, he's on the big books now, Gareth. He's at San Carlo. He's on to San Carlo now. You've changed, Leo. You've changed.
Forgotten everything.
Right, listen. You're at the beginning of your career. Great things are being spoken about you. You're big, beautiful, handsome, but you can punch, and you're a very big man. Talk to us about the heavyweight division at the moment. Talk to us about when you look at young people like Moses Itauma, who's going in against a very studied veteran in Dillian White. When you watch that, how do you see Moses in that fight coming up on August the 16th?
Yeah, I do think Moses is one of a generational talent, and I think he's getting the right hype, which he deserves at the moment. And I think it's a good fight for him to see where he's at, because obviously Dillian White, he's your household name, so it's nice as like a marker for him to show his levels of where he's at as well.
How quickly do you want to progress in this very, very thrilling and very vibrant and alive heavyweight division?
Listen, if it was to ask me deep down, I'd want to be on it straight away, but I know sensibly I've got a good team around me and they're keeping me grounded. They know like I've got a lot of time to go mentally and physically. I've got a lot of maturing to do, And we're in no rush. We're taking each fight as it comes, step by step, and eventually, them big fights, they'll come down the line.
Leo, obviously, I was around you with your first fight week, and you had a smile on your face the whole week. You're a kid that just smiles constantly, right? But now you've experienced your first fight. How do you feel going into your second fight on September the 6th?
Don't get me wrong, the mindset's still the same. End of the day, like we're far from complete yet. I wasn't exactly in with a world beater. I understand that.
There's a process to follow, and you did the job, and you did it great.
No, definitely, and and I understand it'll step up each time, but I go in with the same mindset. There might be a little less pressure on myself. I feel in myself like I'm out there. Like people they've seen what they've seen. If they like it, they like. If they don't, they don't. That's okay as well. Yeah. But I'll go out and do my thing, learn on the job, and get what I need the most out of that fight.
Yeah, look, as I say, you've got a great team around you that will guide you the correct way. But that's what I like about you, though, Leo. You're very grounded, and you know that there is a process to follow. Listen, I manage Adam Macker, your mate as well. He's a lunatic, and he's like he wants to do everything ASAP. But he also knows that there's a process to follow, and I think your team will get it right with you. And as I say, how Moses Itauma is now, Leo Atang will be in that mix very, very soon in his time.
Who inspired you into boxing, and how did you take the steps to get into it, Leo?
So obviously, like, for me, who inspired me was AJ. Like, he was the man when I was growing up. Like, he was the one he's on your TV everywhere you look. Like, he was the man for me at the time. But I got into it just because I was such a hyper kid. I liked every sport there was. I'd do everything, and I just felt like when I did boxing, it was something about like the soulness of it. Like, you can't rely on anyone, if that makes sense. Like, if you win, like, you can give yourself all the credit, but if you lose, there you go. Like, it's your own fault. You haven't put the work in. Do you know what I mean?
Did you show talent at other disciplines, other sports?
I played a bit of rugby. I say I played football. Oh, no good.
Was you a centre back, Leo? Was you a centre back?
I played. I even played a goal at one point, but I feel like they just, when you're a little kid, they put you in goal because like, just get them out of here.
I can't imagine you being little, Leo.
I used to be little. Before lockdown, I'd had 4 fights and I was 55 kilo.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
What have you been eating?
I think everything in sight.
Well, you've been eating bricks.
Tell us about how you perceive the heavyweight division at the moment. Like you say, AJ got you into it. You will have seen him in the Olympics. You'd have been a very small child then, him winning super heavyweight gold. What do you think about our discussion tonight, that there does seem to be serious talks behind the scenes that it's not Tyson Fury he's going to be facing, but he could actually be stepping into the ring early next year against Jake Paul? What do you make of that?
It's hard to say, I think what Jake's done for boxing, some people will dismiss it. I think he's done a lot on the women's side. I mean, he's brought a lot of eyes who probably wouldn't watch boxing to boxing, which is nice to see. I'd like to see people who maybe go unnoticed, who have proper, worked all their lives for that shot to get it, but money talks nowadays. So
do you not think there are intrinsic dangers for Jake Paul being in a ring with Anthony Joshua? Does it not worry you for the life of Jake Paul in there?
That's why we're going to watch it.
I think so. Yeah, I don't see it being a very close fight at all. Yeah, it won't be a close fight. There'll be a lot of people watching it, don't get me wrong, maybe for the few of the wrong reasons, if they're not wanting to see him do well. But same time, yeah, I can't see it going past the round.
Let me take you back to Wembley Stadium a couple of weeks ago with Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk. Obviously, clearly a masterclass from Alexander Usyk, where he smothered the space very quickly and demoralised Daniel Dubois and put him away in the 5th round. Are you in the school of thought that criticises Daniel Dubois' performance and the pre-fight party hype?
So I wasn't before. I seen the pre-hype party. I don't know what that's all about. Like if it genuinely happened, if it did, like you're a bit like what you doing there. I know I seen something about that they did it before the Joshua fight, and it's like a ritual now. So if that's what works for them, by all means. But at the same time, it's probably not the right thing to do at all if you're going to go into an undisputed heavyweight world title fight. But I do feel a lot of criticism on him quitting and stuff like that. It's a touchy subject, but at the same time, you've got to give the man credit. He's 28, 27 years old. He's gone in with probably one of the pound for pound best. He's come up short. It might not have looked pretty to some people. Might thought like, oh, he's quit there and he quit this, but the fact that he's got in there, he's giving it what he can, shows a lot.
Definitely. Listen, like you said there, he's 27. I was in the opposite corner with Joe Joyce when he was, I don't know how old Daniel would have been then.
23,
23, 22, 23.
The lockdown fight.
And he lost. Like, listen, Joe was just far more experienced and just too much man.
No, his jab was extraordinary.
Joe was fantastic, but that's why we were so confident, because of the timing of it. But other than that, he's lost to Alexander Usyk twice. Like, he's the greatest heavyweight of our generation. Like, exactly. you can't bash.
I think he's even greater than that.
Yeah, well, okay, he could be one of the greatest of all time.
Let's open it up, gents. I mean, in the last few minutes we've got Leo here. There's an argument. I've ranked Alexander Usyk in my list as the 7th best heavyweight of all time, just behind. I think he would have beaten Evander Holyfield, who's at 8.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
It's a great fight though, and I've got Mike Tyson just ahead of him, because I think he would have given him trouble for 5 or 6 rounds, but he may not have. I mean, I've got Lennox Lewis at 1, I've got Ali at 2, I've got Joe Lewis at 3, I've got George Foreman at 4, Larry Holmes at 5. I mean, where do you both place? I mean, you can make an argument.
Lennox is my favourite heavyweight of all time.
You can make an argument that Usyk sits anywhere in the top 20 of the greatest heavyweights.
He's in the top 10.
I agree with that.
Has to be.
Where do you see it, Leo, if you're a student or a historian of the game?
You know what? My boxing knowledge is so bad, but I do genuinely put him up there. Like, obviously, you watch old films of fighters and stuff like that. What Usyk does, it's like, and the stories you hear about, like, people, they've never seen timing like it, you know, like, it's the engine, like,
and he's a lefty, as well. And in that list, there's very few lefties.
He's an all-time great.
There's very few lefties in that list as well, by the way, and very few southpaws. I mean, you will have seen footage or clips or YouTube of Holyfield, of Lewis, of Mike Tyson, of Ali, of Foreman. You will have watched some of that, surely. I just think when you look at Usyk's movement, it doesn't matter who he's facing.
He survives in any era. He thrives in any era.
He's got that tensile strength and fast twitch fibre where he knew that there was danger with Daniel Dubois. You could feel it. And he just
if Daniel clips you, if Daniel hits you on the base of your head, you will be falling over. So so Usyk,
for me, it was the fact that I had in my mind, I was going for that second fight. I was like, Daniel's going to put it on him. He's going to be strong. He's going to be bigger. He's being stronger. He's going to straight on. And it's the fact that when I see Usyk walking him back, I'm like, what can't this man do?
You can rewatch the second Anthony Joshua fight against Alexander Usyk as well in Jeddah. I was there live. Yeah. He really tried Joshua. He was. I had him 5-4 up after 9 rounds.
Everyone's tried.
And he was bringing
he
it.
He whooped everyone, hadn't he?
But he slowly slid the fight away from him in the last 3 or 4 rounds by clever skills. And he just bamboozles people. He works people out. Leo, where are you going to be in 2 years' time?
2 years' time.
Don't let him push you, Leo. Take your time, son.
No, we're taking our time, but listen, 2 years' time, I'd like to think my apprenticeship will be coming to an end and I'm ready to, step on a bit.
All right, final question. We talked about this earlier before we say goodnight, and you can go back in the restaurant and finish off your dessert or whatever you're having now. We talked earlier about if Moses Itauma gets the opportunity to fight Alexander Usyk now, and we're just supposing because of that tweet from Turki Al Sheikh that you'll have heard of and seen yourself, should Moses Itauma take that fight now? Because there might be 20 million, 25 million on the table for him.
Leo's thinking, I'll take it for 20 million. I'll do it now.
That's what I'm asking. If you were in the same position as Moses, would you take that fight against Usyk?
With me?
If you were in the same position.
I'm sending it. Let's just do it. Listen, you lose, what? You've 100%. Lost to a pound for pound. Great. You win. We're laughing.
Exactly, you're laughing. Sir, keep laughing, keep smiling. We shall see you soon. Thank you very much for your time tonight.
Take care, Leo. See you in a bit, guys.
Thank you. See you later.
That's Leo Atang, the young heavyweight
Great
boxer.
kid.
What a brilliant character and young kid. Like you say, brilliant kid he is. You're listening to Fight Night on talkSPORT. Next up, George Glinsky, talkSPORT's boxing and MMA writer, joins us for the stories of the week. Welcome back to Fight Night on talkSPORT. I'm Gareth Davies. In the last half an hour, Sam Jones is staying with me. He's sticking to the schedule. He's not skiving like he does in the training sessions in the gym. We are joined now by George Glinsky, talkSPORT's combat sports writer. George, good evening. How are you?
Good evening. How are we doing, gentlemen? Sam, good to see you on the show.
Hello. Yes, I've been welcomed back, George.
Yeah, overpaid and overweight he is tonight in here.
He's giving me a lot of stick about this. I'm 30. We're the same weight.
Yeah, but I'm about 30 years older, unfortunately. I've lined up with a bare knuckle fight, or was it a bare knuckle commentary later
Bit of commentary.
later in the autumn? George, it's lovely to see you as always. We'll leave out the attic and the dungeon this week, as you seem to be in a cell somewhere by the look of it.
Change of scenery.
Change of scenery. Give us our third performing story of the week this week.
A big update on big to an extent, Parker versus Usyk fight. David Higgins, obviously Parker's longtime manager, suggesting that there has been no engagement from Usyk's side regarding that mandatory fight that was ordered 9 days ago. Seems like there's not necessarily panic at this stage, but definitely a little bit of concern that this fight might not come off. I think there was always going to be a feeling that this fight may not come off. It's not necessarily the biggest and most commercially viable option for Alexander Usyk as he comes to the end of his career. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with this fight. Let's see what happens. We've got, 21 days for Usyk to make a decision on this one. I'm sure he's gone back to Ukraine, spending time with family. Maybe we're reading into this too much, or maybe this fight will literally not come to fruition.
I think the writing was on the wall when the tweet came out from Ring Magazine that Riyadh Season and Sella would not be, Ring Magazine wouldn't be underwriting that fight, so it was a clear sign from Turki Al-Sheikh. There was also the red herring, if you like, from Turki Al-Sheikh that Moses Itauma should be the guy fighting Alexander Usyk. Hence us talking about it a lot. I think the big business fight is Usyk and Tyson Fury, whether people like it or not. Like you say, you squinted, you grimaced. People, it's very difficult to see what the obvious fight is next for Usyk.
He just keeps beating everybody.
No, but Ajit Kabayel and Joseph Parker probably should have fought each other, and the winner of that would have created a resonance for the opponent. Where does Parker versus Usyk work? If Riyadh don't want to pay for it, does it happen in the UK? I think Usyk's popular enough for it to be in the UK. It still fills a small stadium, maybe 40,000, 50,000, but market value, that's the problem with this fight, in my view.
Listen, on merit, Joseph Parker deserves the fight, right? But if Usyk vacates the belt, Joe Parker will be elevated to full world champion. He deserves that also. He's the in-form heavyweight. But as you say, George, and that's what I'm hearing also, it's looking towards the fact that fight is probably not going to happen.
George, we're going to move on to the second biggest performing story of the week, Eddie Hearn and his revelation.
Yeah, I mean, another negotiation, another fight that may or may not come to fruition as well. Obviously, Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, it was supposed to happen in September. Turki Al-Sheikh put out that confirmation that it was happening September the 20th. Then Eubank Jr. comes out and says, I can't do September, it's too soon. It's looking like that's wheeling towards potentially a November date. But also, Eddie Hearn is keeping his options open for his fighter, as every good promoter should. There's talks with PBC at the moment about Mario Barrios and Conor Benn potentially meeting for a WBC welterweight title. I think everyone wants a piece of Mario Barrios after he laboured against a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao. But is that the fight that Conor Benn wants? I think it's really a backup. And I think, I spoke to Napa recently, Eubank Jr.'s manager, and he suggested that it's looking likely that's going to happen. So I think this is kind of really a smokescreen. It's just, there's nothing in it. But who knows? Who knows? That Mario Barrios fight might come to fruition at some stage.
Very interesting. And the most performing story of the week, I think it's your exclusive with Filip Hrgovic. And I think we can hear part of the interview, George.
Why not? I mean, it's a good fight. It's a good fight to stay busy, to get a win, hopefully. And he's a good opponent, good name. Like I said, I got a good offer, and it's a good fight, Why not? And I like the fact that I'm in ring, soon after that. I don't waiting much after a Joyce fight. That I'm just a couple of months later, and that's good for me. It's good to be active, and everything is good about this fight,
But this wasn't the only name that was offered to you. I understand Martin Bakole was also thrown into the mix. Why did that fight not come off?
Yeah, Martin Bakole was first guy that was offered, and he said no. I said yes, and that fight didn't happen. And then they offered this guy a delay, and he accepted, I accepted, and that's it,
What do you make of David? A big puncher, quite a raw talent. Have you studied him much on film? What do you make of him as a fighter?
Yeah, decent puncher. He don't throw many punches. He's not so aggressive. He's just like counter puncher and solid speed and power. But we'll see. I think he was never in a ring with someone like me, and I think I'm better. I'm on different level. But I expect a good fight, and I'm ready for everything, and I'm training hard for this.
Yeah, a very interesting interview there with Filip. We spoke extensively about the David Adelaide fight, spoke about what was coming up for him on August the 16th. He obviously fights on the undercard of Moses Itauma and Dillian White. And one of the big takeaways from that conversation was that Martin Bakole was thrown into the mix. We saw it there, and that was rejected. I highly doubt that has something to do with Martin Bakole not wanting the fight. I would suggest that has a lot more to do with the boxer situation, which I know you guys have been discussing quite a lot earlier on in this show. I know that Billy Nelson, your good friend Sam, your good friend Billy Nelson, he seems very frustrated with the whole situation. Martin seems very frustrated with the whole situation. It seems as though his career is really stagnated at this point. So, I mean, that would have been the fight I would have liked to see, to be honest with you. I thought that, no disrespect to David Adelaide at all, but he's on the fringes of world level. Filip is very much up there in the top 10, and I was quite surprised when this came off. So, Bakole would have been the fight, I think.
Very interesting stuff, George, as always. Thank you very much indeed. Enjoy your week. We'll see you next week.
See you later, guys.
Cheers, George. Fascinating stuff there, Sam.
Yeah.
Hrgovic, still a force in the division, in my view. I'd love to see him in against Fabio Wardley. Yeah. There's some big fights there.
There's some great fights to make in the heavyweight division.
Joshua.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a fight I'd watch. Fabio Wardley, Lawrence Okoli. I'd see him in against Derek Chisora in his 50th fight. There's loads. Hrgovic matches up well with everyone.
He's in the mix, isn't he? He
is in the mix. Until that defeat to Dubois, he was the guy in the position that Joseph Parker and Ajit Kabayel are in now, in my view.
He had a tough night against Zhang, didn't he? The first one, but
I thought he lost that by a round.
He lost his father in the build up to that fight, and I do think that played a big part in his performance. But he's got himself together. He's with Hall of Fame trainer Abel Sanchez, and he's putting the hard yards in Big Bear. Good luck to Filip.
Indeed. Had on the other story, very quickly, had Manny Pacquiao, I think Manny Pacquiao won that fight against Barrios by 2. I had 115, 113. I've rewatched the whole fight.
Barrios is like a gazelle, isn't he? Like a wounded gazelle, and all the welterweights are like lions.
But you know
up to
what
get
we'll
him.
be talking about now? We'd be talking about Mayweather Pacquiao 2. Oh. And would Mayweather become it's still a big fight. Manny Pacquiao is still incredibly popular with millions of people in the Philippines. Right, paddleboarding next. You can watch me paddleboarding with Fran Hennessy down in Herne Bay next. This is Fight Night on talkSPORT. Welcome back to Fight Night on talkSPORT. I'm Gareth Davies. The final section, Sam Jones is still here with me. We've managed to put up with him for 3 hours. He's managed to put up with me for 3 hours. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I went paddleboarding with the young super bantamweight and bantamweight boxer Fran Hennessy, daughter of the great promoter Mick Hennessy. Here's what happened. It's great to see you, Fran. We're going to go paddleboarding today, aren't we?
I know.
Now, the weird thing is, I've known Dad, I think, for about 30 years.
You've known him longer than I have.
Yeah, I've known him longer than you have. And he never believed when you were a little girl that you were going to end up as a boxer. No. We know he's promoted Tyson Fury.
Yep.
Carl Froch, Darren Barker, Hughie Fury.
Yep.
Been involved for a long time, but he never believed he'd be promoting or managing his own daughter.
No, I think it's all still a bit crazy for him, you know, but he believed in me when I got to a certain age, and he saw a bit of talent, but yeah, I don't think he ever knew it was going to go this far, but you know, now he's my biggest supporter, and I wouldn't be where I am without him.
So you're undefeated. You've had a great career so far. You're about to go over to New York.
Yeah.
Sav Marshall, who you support and friends with.
Yes.
Let's have a little sit down here a minute.
Let's have a little
while
sit.
we enjoy the sea before I drag you on the water.
Oh, don't remind me.
That she's fighting on that card.
Yeah.
Jake Paul's a big supporter of women's boxing right now. It's an MVP show. Do you like what's happening with women's boxing in that way?
Oh, look, I love it. I love how, you know, there's a big spotlight being shown on women's boxing at the minute, you know. Everyone's raising their game. You want to see these fights where women are having it and drawing that much attention in, and it's amazing seeing. I'm really looking forward to seeing it there in person.
Do you feel that you could bring a new wave into women's boxing? You love fashion as well, don't you?
I do, yeah.
You're always fashionable. Talk to me about that, about how you always bring a look with you.
Look, the fighting's a really important part of the game, but sometimes it can be a bit vanilla. I feel like you've got to have more to you than just the way you fight, you know, you've got to have that personality outside the ring.
To be a fighter, it's the most brutal of sports.
Definitely.
But you can still be elegant and beautiful and feminine.
You don't have to be any type of way to be a boxer. You can be the girliest of girls or not. And
are you that?
I am, yeah. I'd say, look, I have got a bit of a tomboyish side to me. You know, everyone says I'm half my sister and half my brother because my sister is like the most girliest girl you can
She
get.
is, very beautiful girl.
Very beautiful girl, you know, would never dream of boxing.
She's also got the nails done, the clothes, the eyelashes, the makeup. She's always perfect, isn't she?
She actually helps me with all my outfits, you know, she helps me with all of that. Like, we obviously do makeup together, things like that. On the other side, I'm a bit like my brother, where I love to box. I have got a tomboy side to me, but I've also got a girly side to me, and I think it's nice to have that balance. And
what's your style and what's it modelled on, if it is modelled?
I like flair. I like, you know, that type of Prince Nassim style, obviously. But I'm also very fierce. I'm tough. I can come forward and I can have a fight as well. I can do it all, like if I want to, you know. And at times I haven't had to show I can have a fight, but at times I've had to show I can have a fight. And
You mentioned Nazim Hamid there. You've got lovely walk-ins. You always do something special on your ring walks, don't you?
For me, it's not put on, you know. I've always been like that.
You're a showwoman, aren't you?
I'm a showwoman since I've been
yeah.
a young age. When I hear music, when I see the crowd, that just comes out of me. It's just like, yeah, let's give everyone a show and like excite everyone. For me, first and foremost, I want to be an undisputed world champion.
Where are you now in weights?
Bantamweight.
So how far do you want to go up?
So my last fight was at Super Bantam, but with my fights, it's been a bit difficult because I haven't had a lot of notice for all my fights. I haven't had the right time to get to the right weight, and you know, if you've seen my fights, you've seen that every single person I've fought has been a lot taller than me, a lot bigger than me, like even strength-wise, a lot bigger than me, like look like they've got bigger muscles or whatever. Yeah. I'm using this time and I'm getting down to my right weight, which will either be Superfly or Bantam.
It's tomboy time. Or you don't have to be a tomboy on a paddleboard, but let's go and do something physical. Should we go paddleboarding?
Okay, we'll do it. I'm definitely not wrestling with an alligator.
You want to jog as well, do you?
That's Baywatch style, isn't it?
No, it's too far, Fran. You did brilliantly out there. You've never been out to sea like that before on a paddleboard, have you?
Wow, Gareth. Do you know what? I really enjoyed it, and it's something I'll definitely remember.
We had a bit of wind today and we had a bit of current. We were coming against the high tide at times and against the strong wind, but
whoa!
And the wind. That's how strong the wind is.
It was really therapeutic at times.
Yeah.
It was tough at times.
Yeah.
We had a good chat.
We had a really good chat. You can read the chat at Telegraph Sport. There'll be a little feature on talkSPORT as well, and watch out for our social media. And the last thing I've got to say is, watch out for this lady. She's a very special young person. Loads of ability in the ring, but just as much ability out of it. Thanks, Fran.
Thanks, Gareth.
Cheers, sweetheart. Cheers. Lovely to see you. Very, very interesting person. The daughter, blessing and a curse having the Hennessy name, maybe. Blessing because it's dad and he knows the sport inside out. A curse because she's got to produce something. But a very, very interesting young woman who could be that next generation after Serrano, Taylor, Shields, Claressa Shields and Savannah Marshall.
What was even more interesting viewing, Gary, was your shorts, your swimming shorts. But yeah, you both seem to do really well with the paddle boarding. But listen, Francesca Hennessy, I would like to see her sign with MVP, Jake Paul. Listen, as we know, with the box situation's very uncertain, which we spoke about earlier. But yeah, I want to see her in the mix with all those special talents that have gone to MVP.
I do think there's Claressa Shields doesn't have enough opponents and the career is slightly turgid as I've described it. Savannah Marshall and she should have had several fights and an MMA fight to boot, all those different kind of things. Women's boxing still needs development. There's no doubt about it.
Jake's doing it.
You've got to commend Jake Paul for doing so. Listen, in the last 3 minutes tonight, before we say good night, after 3 fantastic hours here on Fight Night with you, you've got some interesting guys in your stable. Pat Brown interests me. Great character. We've had him on the show. Looks like a real talent. You've got a few guys coming through now.
Pat's a special fighter. Unique character. Loves a fight, but he's a gentleman outside the ring. I honestly think he will be one of the faces of British boxing in the years to come. Listen, he's ready now for these guys in the domestic, but there's a process to follow. There's a process to follow, and when his coaches, Jamie and Nigel Travis, tell me it's time to pull the trigger, we'll pull the trigger.
Tell us about the other guys in your stable that you are working on, who we'll hear about.
There's a few. We've got, as I say, Mark Dickinson fighting Troy Williamson on September the 6th. Adam Macker will be on that show. Cameron Vong will be on that show.
All exciting fighters.
Yeah, we're looking to do the Gavin Gwynn rematch later on in the year. Hamza Uddin will be fighting for his first title this year. Jack Catchell, I want in a massive fight.
That's an interesting name,
I want him in a massive fight. He's been speaking to Turkey online, as you saw. He's hopefully be on a Riyadh season card. But listen, if not,
Tom and Jerry, Tom and Tom.
Listen, Jack fired back on a tweet when Rick Reno tried to give him a bit of stick. Jack thought, no, I'm giving you a left hand down the pipe. And Jack's talked himself into a slot on a Riyadh card, but Jack Catchell will fight anybody, and he's a pleasure to work with, Gareth. One of the best guys you will ever meet.
I completely agree with you. He's just not one of those guys that normally does do the trash talking.
Yeah.
He's a guy that you've trash talked for before. Obviously, you fell into sticky times with him as well. You got caught red-faced at one point.
Oh, the Regis Prograis one.
The Regis
Prograis one. Yes, they'll never let me live that down. But it helped sell the fight, and I didn't even mean to this time, Gareth.
I thought you rode it very, very well indeed.
Tried my best.
You did. Finally, in the last few seconds, from your perspective as an agent of fighters, is boxing in a good position right now?
Yeah, it's in a great position. Even as a agent manager, I just want to make the best possible fights. And then the promoters, I say, with the help of Riyadh Season, Turkey Al Sheikh, the best fights. We just want to see the best fight, the best, Gareth. And our sport will be in a healthy state.
Sam Jones, thank you very much for joining me tonight on Fight Night. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Gadman.
Thank you very much to our guest, Tyler Goodjohn, for coming in the studio. The bare knuckle boxer who fights on September the 6th, to Leo Atang, to all our guests, to Fran Hennessy for coming paddleboarding with me, for Mick for sitting on the sidelines. You've been listening to Fight Night on talkSPORT with me, Gareth Davies, and my guest and co-host, Sam Jones. We will see you very soon. A very good night.